I believe I finally did it. 36 days into real estate, and I genuinely believe I have a 95% confident feeling that I was able to get my first buyer client. Let's talk about it. I think this is exciting news, and I had a really interesting day, and this is probably like, whoa, like this came right out of the blue. So let's talk about it. So I talked about that for sale by owner listing I had. It has nothing to do with that. It was an open house I hosted open today. So from an open house, I'm going to tell you how it all went down. So the open house I hosted on Sunday, it was from Sunday from 1 to 3. Now, if you know about Sundays at 1 p.m., guess what's on? Football. Colts season opener against the Miami Dolphins. Huge build-up. Daniel Jones was the starting quarterback. There was a lot of intrigue to the game. So I figured not a lot of people are going to be wanting to go look at homes during a football game. Well, I was wrong. So let's talk about the home in particular. So the home that I hosted open had a price point of under $300,000, which is extremely low for Westfield standards. Just as a comparison, most of the homes I host open are anywhere between $500,000 to $700,000. So this was like way lower. With that being said, I actually visited the home a day before I actually hosted the open house just to see what the home was like. I walked in, it was not full of furniture, so it wasn't staged. It wasn't cleaned, and there was a lot of broken stuff, and it just was not presentable at all. I was like, what is this? Like, this is insane. I've never seen a home this disgusting before. Like, I can't host this open. This is ridiculous. Well, so anyways, I decided I'm not going to bring MLS sheets. I'm not, because to me, it looked like a waste of time. Well, I had 10 families show up, so it was a record number of people showing up to an open house. And with those people, there were a couple of fiancés, and they're new to the area. They've been renting for a few years, and they were looking to buy their first home. The home, again, was under $300,000. Great home for first-time home buyers, right next to the schools, really good area. And honestly, if you can get a full-size home under $300,000 in Westfield, that is a steal. Okay, so they loved the home. They asked me a ton of questions about the house, and they asked me so many, I said, here, how about you give me your information, and I can go ahead and follow up with you in these concerns. Okay, so she gave out she sent me the information. After that, I followed up with her, and she even sent me and the listing agent an email. So she took my business card, she wrote down the information to follow up with me, and she sent us an email talking about how great it was talking with me, talking about, I asked Nick a lot of questions, and she said that she had an agent. Her and her fiance had an agent. However, it was an agent that was referred to them by their bank. And the agent was sending them MLS listings and homes. But they really weren't confident, so they didn't sign papers. Well, here I come in, and all of a sudden, we are talking for real. And so we have an appointment scheduled for Thursday. Now, I was hoping to get it done tomorrow. I was hoping to meet with them tomorrow because I want to get that contract signed as soon as possible. Not just in the sense of I want to make a commission off of them, but in the sense of if I want to help them, we need to get that signed. I'm not legally allowed to help them as a fiduciary if we don't have a contract, right? So I needed to get that signed. But I'm hoping in the next 3 days they're not looking through homes and they find another agent and then, I'm kind of dead in the water. So the goal for me moving forward right now is to keep following up with them, just checking in, and then after that, working on my buyer consultation. I've been too busy lead generating. I haven't been even making those designs because my mindset's always been if you're going to be in real estate, you need to focus on lead generation. And then designing your buyer consultation, that's not going to matter unless you have clients, right? So I'm going to end up working on that tomorrow. I'm likely going to have to talk about that with Tyler. We're going to have a conversation about it. On top of that, I will be reaching back out with that for sale by owner tomorrow just to keep following up with her. Again, she was a great gal to talk to, but I very well might have my own client already, clients. And what does this mean? What does this mean? Well, if they want to end up buying this home, which I know they're qualified to buy it, they could easily be able to close on this home by the end of this month if they really want this home in particular, because they're already pre-approved. Okay, they're pre-approved for a loan. They got all the paperwork and stuff signed. As long as we get the contract done, they might as well be able to get this done by the end of September. If that is the case, I might be able to close it on a commission already in October. If that's the case too, that might pay over 2 months worth of rent, right? So that is huge, huge, huge money. And then, of course, with that being said, I got to keep doing lead generation. I got to keep doing it even if I have a client, because it's always going to be important. Like this for sale by owner could be a listing, so it's important to get that established right off the bat. With that being said as well, let's think about comparisons. I don't like to compare myself to other people, but let's compare to an unidentified entity, the average agent. I have been told in real estate that the average agent typically gets their first client or their first transaction within 4 to 6 months of being in the business. From what I've heard, it's usually later than that. I've heard people, it took them a year, it took them 2 years, like it takes them a long time. If this ends up being a written contract by Thursday, I will be 6 times ahead of most agents, which makes sense because I am very locked in on what I'm doing, and I came in here knowing exactly what's important. And yeah, there were some, growing pains, and I'm still going through those growing pains, of course. But the fact of the matter is, I came in here understanding that lead generation is king, that following up is queen, and that is the foundation of my business. It's the fundamentals of my business, is lead generation and lead follow-up. If I can do those two things, then the contracts, the inspections, the home warranties, the title stuff, the mortgage appraisal, all that stuff is we're going to cross those paths when we get there. And that's something I'm going to naturally learn as I start working with clients. But right now, lead generation is the most important thing by far. So if I end up working with this client here, that really is a good sign, because it means that what I'm doing right now is working. And like I said before, I was giving myself until November to get this done. And it's looking like it's going to be early September. Again, I have to give myself credit for this. If I am able to get this through, it will be a huge win. Not just for me, but for them, right? Because they're looking for something specific. They're trying to get out of renting. Renting sucks. I understand that. And if I can get them into the home that they actually want, then that builds a relationship there, that's very important. So again, this came right out of the blue. Saturday, it was all about the for sale by owner, but now it's these buyers who are first-time homeowners, which tells me, do I keep hosting open houses that are high-priced? Because I'll say this too. The open house I hosted on Saturday that was over almost $600,000 didn't have that many people show up at all. I'm starting to think the lower-priced homes are not only going to go by fast, but you're going to find first-time home buyers that are more likely to work with new agents. So from now on, if I can find even a condo, if I can find a townhouse, if I can find especially a single-family home that is under $300,000 in Westfield, I will be in great shape to host that home open. With that being said, I would prefer to host homes open that are with people in the office. I don't want to host open houses for people that are not with Keller Williams. And even if it's not Metro North, if it's Northeast or South, that's fine too. So what's the plan moving forward? What's the plan tomorrow? Hold on. The plan tomorrow is I am going to be following up with them, just trying to hear back a response, because I want to tell you what she kind of said. So she said, let's meet Thursday. I don't know when my fiance is going to be free on Thursday, but I'll let you know. That has my anxious brain kind of moving because I'm like, we need a time now, so I'm a little nervous about that. We need to get this rolling. And so I'm going to talk with Tyler about it tomorrow, and we're going to talk about how I can follow up with them until Thursday. Because like I said, if we have no contact for the next 3 days, that's bad news. Okay, so it's important for me to do the lead follow-up, put them in command, be able to follow up with them. On top of that, being able to follow up with my for sale by owner, giving her a call tomorrow. And on top of that, we will be continuing to text for sale by owners, following up with them, sending them voicemails, all that jazz. That's never going to change. Hot sheets are kind of being put on the side. I'm not trying to really focus on the specific market in Westfield, but if it's relevant to what they want, I'm going to send my first-time home buyers that information. We're going to see how it goes. I'm happy, genuinely, if I get a contract here 30, not even 40 days into real estate, and I've already gotten my first buyer. And everyone in the office is proud of me for being able to do these things that I'm doing. And, I look back in my mind and I think, if this is how I build success in this industry, all of the struggles, all of the hardships I've had in my past, all the rejections, all of the things I didn't want as a kid, when I was a teenager, even as a college student, I finally reaped the rewards for everything I've been through. I didn't get the girl I wanted in middle school. I didn't get the track times I wanted. All my friends had girlfriends. All my friends had computers. All my friends parents were married. They owned a home. My parents didn't have that. My parents divorced. Well, they owned a home, but when they divorced, no home that they owned. I didn't have money. I didn't have these nice things. And really, I felt out of place my entire life. And if I build success here, it just feels like everything was leading up to this point. And I am an inevitable force in the real estate industry. Am I somebody like Kyle Engel, or am I someone like a very, very experienced entrepreneur who is just amazing right off the bat? No, I'm not. I'm not that successful. I'm not that great. But considering my age, considering the fact I'm 22 years old, considering the fact that I've been in real estate for only 30-something days, and I already might have my first buyer client from someone I don't know, good sign that I'm going to be successful. And I think this is a huge momentum shifter if it goes through, to build my confidence, because what that does is that tells me what I'm doing is right. And everyone was telling me, but now here's real tangible proof. We'll go ahead and see how it goes tomorrow. Again, I'm hoping they decide to go with me. Wendy did send, the listing agent did send my potential client an email saying, Nick's a great agent. If you have any questions and if you choose which realtor you want, you can go ahead and ask the questions to me. Now, the fact that Wendy and I have a relationship, they're more inclined to work with me. Now, if they end up finding another home, right, that they want, and then they have another agent right there, then that is the red flag. But it's a good thing. It's a really good thing that I hosted this open on Sunday, and they're not going to be looking at open houses until next weekend. And we have the listing or the buyer meeting Thursday. So they won't be able to go to another open house until they meet with me, which is great because you don't want them going out seeing other agents. I mean, I know it sounds like needy, but that's just kind of how it is in real estate, right? We're cooperative, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to kind of do our thing. But great day. I cannot believe that. I totally airballed the fact that no one was going to show up. I mean, 10 families showed up to it, and it wasn't staged or anything. So I think the biggest thing buyers are looking for right now is affordability, and that's what my lender said. The number one concern buyers have right now is affordability. Homes that are listing under market median sales price are going fast. That is a fact. And buyers that are looking to buy in this lower price range are still in the seller's market. Anyways, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. I got Market Monday tomorrow. I'm going to be following up with them. I'm going to be following up with my FSBOs, contacting FSBOs, all that jazz. So we'll go ahead and get that done tomorrow. That's it, guys. Have a great night. Sleep well. Take care.